Hello, friends. Also, Maya, I saw this. It takes about 5 minutes once I'm live to kick the bot in. And I always feel personally attacked, but I love it. How is everybody doing?
Here.
Bex literally just finished the book.
I love it.
Jade obviously did not even start it, so that's why we're missing a Jade. And
obviously Ro did not start it.
Ro decided that she wants to continue, so we have Amel.
Hi.
I'm here.
What's up?
I gave it a 3 stars. It did get a lower 3 stars than the last one, but not by much, but still 3 stars.
Same.
I mean, it's definitely it's either a 1 or 2. I don't know.
You hated it that much? Wow.
I despised it.
Oh man, you're gonna have to say why.
I know. The thing is, it's not even anything horrendous about the book. It's just everything I disliked about the first book was still there, which of course it's still there.
Yeah.
It's just annoying me more.
Mm-hmm. Also, by the way, guys, this is just all going to be spoiler filled. There's no spoiler free happening here because I feel like we have nothing to talk about spoiler free.
Also, I read the whole book today, except for like 30 pages.
I'm impressed. It took me way longer than that.
And yet I still can't remember a single thing that happened. Like, I can remember like a couple of scenes that like were like interesting, but like other than that, I'm like,
I think the book has like a special power where you read it and then it just goes poof from your brain.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was very prepared for the last live show and had like notes, and I had like a Google form for everyone to fill out. This one, I got nothing. I don't even have the book on me.
That I do have. I went and got it.
I'm balancing you on the book, I just realized. So
it's fine. Everything's fine.
I do have it, but
yeah, I don't know. I felt like the book started out really good this time and then just went downhill. Like the beginning was better.
I mean, I was just bored throughout mostly, but there was a couple of scenes, I'd say around the maybe like 3rd mark, that I was like, ooh, is interesting stuff happening. And then it happened for a chapter and then stopped again.
This just tells you how this went. Like, we were good, we weren't so good anymore.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I have a couple of notes that I wrote down on my phone, but not a lot. So I will say, the one positive that I have written down is writing was slightly less obnoxious.
See, I felt like the writing was still pretty obnoxious.
Oh, it was. It was definitely still obnoxious, but slightly less. Which
I agree to this. I did not understand the motivations in this book. They weren't fleshed out enough for me.
I just don't get the whole point of the series, really. Like, I feel like there's no real direction. I mean, now I feel like there is, but like, we finished the 2nd book. It's like it shouldn't take 2 books to be like, okay, in the final book, here's what's actually gonna happen.
Well, they would go and do things. It was like, go, do something, big action scene, and then stall. And then go, do something, big action scene, stall.
And that was something that really bothered me in the first book, was that like there would be a chapter of like something like really cool, a really cool idea, action, whatever, like some sort of scheming or anything. And then it would only last a chapter, and then we could just be back to like life on the ship.
We would get cool creatures
in this book,
and then nothing.
Like, one of the scenes that like interested me was like when he like basically got kidnapped. I was like, oh my god, something interesting is happening, and it was a chapter
and
long.
It was bye-bye.
Yeah, I mean, it lasted like
just
a page and a half.
I was like, why didn't we let him get kidnapped for a bit? Like, why did we have to
let him suffer
on that page?
Yep.
I will say this book falls prey to a trope in books that I really hate, where it's the whole story is from point A to point B, but that would be too short. So they have to go to point A and a half, point A and 3/4, and have like little things happen that don't really matter. It's just to make the journey longer, and I hate that in books. So that's like the
I said it in the comments in Becca's sprints earlier when I was reading it, that I honestly feel like this series could be one book probably.
Mhm.
Like this whole series could probably be one book or like a series of novellas. It took me like 5 minutes to register that.
Yeah. Like that annoyed me because it happened a couple of different times. His characters are so poorly written, the side characters, that he would do these things that should have high emotional impact. And it's like, yeah, but this guy got like 6 lines of page count. I do not care. And it was frustrating. Stop trying to give me big emotional impact with characters that have no page time.
Like, he would literally give us a POV of a character we've never met before to watch that character die. And I was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Literally don't care about this character dying.
Yeah. Oh, but yeah, my whole feelings is like, because it is so, like, there's not enough character development to make sense for how many pages there is. There's not enough plot either. Like,
Same.
it is like, as I said, it's about like 100
It's a
150 pages
meandering
of
book.
actual plot.
Yeah.
Plus, the rest is just waffle.
Yeah.
And
It's just a
so-
book of meandering.
Yeah, and so like this whole series could probably have been one book.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the thing that pissed me off more than anything was Anzir's death, because she was such a pointless
so mad.
character. I was so pissed. I was like, why did we kill her? Like, why did we introduce her character in the first place if we were just going to kill her in like the only 4 chapters she gets? Pretty much later.
And like the thing is, she was definitely a character who could have been interesting.
I like
because like in the first book, like she's the one who like she basically gave up her position because he bested her. Like that's an interesting way of thinking. And so like it would have been interesting to actually get some more of her and actually learn more about her. But we didn't. So why am I supposed to care that she's dead?
Yeah. Also, this also was the biggest
Oh, it
annoying.
was so stupid. It was no like transition. It was just there and then moving on. I'm like, what?
I swear I don't know. Like I know what happened in this book, but I don't see how it is all connected because it just jumped so much.
Yeah, like, all of a sudden Quell is going to guard your back. She literally just murder you, and you just flips. I was like, what the
There was no like good explanation as to why her thoughts and motivations changed so rapidly.
No, not at all. Like,
I don't know. I would just get so annoyed.
I get why they couldn't kill her because obviously they wanted the backing from her uncle.
Yeah.
But they also could have explained that so much better than they did and made that feel like more of an impact. Like they could have had the uncle like, even threaten a couple times.
Yeah.
Quell to stay alive or something. But because otherwise I was like, just throw this bitch off the ship.
Right?
Like
overboard, walk the plank. I don't know. And then you would get snippets of good lore and magic system, like the singing and things, and something big would happen. Like the freaking mountain split in 2. And then you just completely ignore that ever existed for another 200 pages. It's like, oh, the mountain split in 2. That's really weird. Okay, let's just go off on this next adventure. And you don't even.
The dragon came from the mountain.
Yeah.
The serpents live in the.
But they ignored that entirely. They were just like, oh yeah, whatever, cool. Let's just go to the next shipping dock.
They did just accept that the serpents just
I'm like, a freaking dragon just came out of the mountain, and you're like, cool. Moving on.
I'm not a character-driven reader, but I even am like, this needs something. Like, I mean, I'm still giving it 3 stars. I'm still not hating it. There's parts that I do hate, but it could have been. I honestly think that if it had been better written, this would have been a favorite series. Like, the concept and the world.
Oh yeah, a different author could have done a
Agreed.
job with this, which sounds really horrible, but it's true. Because that's my main issue is like, and like that was something I talked about in the first live show is that like it's very surface level. Like I feel like such brilliant ideas, but we never get any sort of development of anything, and it's so annoying and it's so frustrating because like even all of the things that we were talking about, like oh maybe there'll be more like political drama because like there was like little hints of it. We still didn't get more of that. The lore we got a tiny bit more, but still not enough. Like it's not enough.
And then like Maria saying that the saving the money. The sad thing is, if you go and look on Goodreads, This book got a 4.45 stars average rating on Goodreads. I don't
really love it.
understand.
I don't either.
I don't
I
get it.
also like we missed an entire thing because on the Reddit bingo thing, this counts for the prompt with like a different environment, and I was so confused. Apparently, there's no trees here.
They run through the trees, though.
Apparently,
Yeah.
They
There's
run
no
through the trees.
There's definitely trees.
There are trees.
There are
apparently
definitely
the world is poisoned and there's no trees. And I'm like, I missed this. I don't know, like
At
if
the
this
very beginning, do they not dock the ships and have
No,
the
that was, like,
battle
in
with
the
the
middle,
peoples and run
wasn't
through the
it?
forest of trees?
that's what I
I'm trying
thought.
to find the chapter of like when they
I'm
were
so
like trying to
confused.
go to like the wind spire. Is it the wind spire? Oh, I can't think of it.
So there are trees, but there's not supposed to be trees apparently.
There are trees. Right.
And so I'm
Forest
like,
of
if
trees.
I missed such a big plot point like that, what is wrong with me? Or like what is wrong with your
Same.
writing? How did I miss that and so many
missed
other
it too.
people?
I feel like
Maybe
he
the-
likes to allude to things, but not
I mean,
explain. And I don't need you to dump it in my lap, like feed it to me with a spoon, but you do need to illustrate things a little bit better.
Well, and
Maybe.
he illustrates other things. He illustrates like how wet the
Yeah.
wave is.
Yeah.
I didn't even actually write down any examples of his overwriting because, as I said, it was slightly less obnoxious. Like, it was definitely still there, but you know, I didn't bother writing down any of the examples.
Yeah.
And I do think it was less frequent. So that was an improvement. The only
We
thing
could
I liked.
be assuming they're trees, but I feel like we should know. Like if
Yeah.
that's such a big part. But
I mean, if you're saying a forest, I'm gonna imagine trees.
St. Maya, same. I feel like I'm trusting it.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, like I'm wondering if he wants that to be a like. I wonder if that will come to play in the third book where we learn like it's all poisoned or something, and it's supposed to be like this big shocking reveal. But I think that reveal's stupid because I didn't get any hints of it in the previous books.
Agreed.
I really wish I didn't buy all of the books because I would definitely not continue. But I have the third book, so I'm gonna read it.
Close to the end now that you may as well read
Might as well. Just get the audiobook and put it on 3 times speed and power through.
I will also state we will be taking May off. I'm gonna run the book club like we do a series. We take a month off so that we can decide on our next pick and people can get it that month, and then we continue. I have a feeling that we are not continuing with R.J. Barker's work after this.
Like, I mean, I know people have said that like it's a different writing style and everything that he uses, but like I think I need like a good few months before I can even think of touching another book.
But I've heard the writing is so different in the second one or the other series. Apparently, it is extremely character driven and a completely different writing style.
How do I not know anything about this? The second book.
So they did talk about that, and I'm trying to remember exactly what it was, but this was talked about.
It was slightly mentioned in the first book, was it?
I think it's in part like because she was supposed to be taken by the waves and survived twice. They called her Lucky Knees, but she was also like treason. Yeah, and then she committed treason. Her mother absolutely can't stand her and hates her, and so she put her on a black ship to kind of get the troublesome child out of the view of the political eye, because her mom is like somebody big up in the political world.
But they have other ships. Like there's white ships and there's black ships. And then white ships, I guess, are still made out of dragon bones. But then there's other ships. There's still other ships. I at least thought. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're all only dragon bone ships. And then that would make sense.
They're all dragon bone ships. And some have lights and some don't.
Makes sense. I did like the conversation about how the killing of the babies to make the lights isn't actually about the war. It was like paying tribute to what they used to go through and do.
So I can either be the 4th person to rate this book 1 star on Goodreads, or I can be the 12th person to rate it 2 stars.
This is the thing with the next R.J. Barker series, or like the previous one. I don't trust reviews now, so I don't trust that you think that it's character driven. I'm still gonna read it. I just probably won't make the whole book club read it because I still own the first one anyway.
Thanks.
I mean, I would still probably try it because I've heard that it's so different, and because I think I would probably prefer that setting because I don't really care about boats and sea and all of that. But yeah, I don't think I could continue like straight on after this.
I'll
Need a little
probably give them to
time.
Dad and see if he likes them. I think he likes the pretentious writing. He might find it more interesting. I feel like if you didn't like the writing style, then there's not much for you in this book. If you love this really obtuse and, fanciful dancing around the subject style, then you're going to like this book a lot better than the people that are here for plot or characters or something with a lot more substance to it. But I don't read books just for the writing style. So
It's interesting enough because everyone knows I hate like lyrical writing, atmospheric writing, but I actually don't mind the writing in this. I just like the style of it.
yeah.
I just want more substance still. Like
Same.
Wheel of Time still gave me more substance than this.
Yes, completely agree.
Then again, it was like 800 pages long.
But I'm enjoying this more than I'm enjoying the Lord of the Rings books, and I can heavily see the comparison there.
I still need to read those. I haven't done it. I have the pretty editions just sitting right there, but
We'll do them. Just pretend and just never read them.
Yeah.
just let them.
Yeah,
I read The
yeah.
Hobbit and it was okay. Yeah, same. You've got to have something
You
for
got-
me
yeah.
to gravitate and hang on to.
Okay, now I feel like we should talk about something good. The Galame.
Oh, okay, I was about to say there was nothing in here, but yeah, okay.
I love the Galames. He's so sassy.
Book that has zero character development. I do feel like I understand the Galame completely. Like I do feel like I understand his character, his motives, everything about him.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even
He
talk
has
that
so
much.
few
He's
words.
like a sassy 14-year-old. I love it.
Yeah, but like also like there's so few words, and like we actually don't even get that much page time with the Galame. So and so like it's very impressive for us to become like so attached to this character. So why couldn't he do that with the rest of them that we actually spend more time with? Like,
and all of the Galames are really cool. Like I feel
Yeah.
like they're all a lot more fleshed out than the main character is.
yes.
Like I loved the Windshorn too, and then the last one that came up was also I was like, you're interesting because you like hate everyone.
Grumpy Grandpa Galame.
Mm.
What do we think about the oh crap, what was he called? Win something. The basically like godlike Galame that they think that he is.
Oh, the Windseer?
Yes.
I'm interested to see the prediction that's like
Yeah, because it's all about how he'll like destroy the world. Which yeah, please do. That's how I want this series to end. I just want everything on fire.
Explodes.
I'm thinking what's going to happen is he awakens all the dragons, and since the dragons are the islands, there's no islands or something.
Yeah, I can see that. But the poor Galame, he's like, no, I don't want to do this. No. And they're like, but you're going to.
Yeah.
And I can see that because the whole time he's like telling Joran to sing and coaching him into this. And then every time he does, a dragon emerges. Definitely see that. And that part is cool. Why don't we get more of that?
But we need to like not get that and then go elsewhere.
Exactly. So stay focused. Focus box.
I'm like, I felt like I actually enjoyed kind of where the plot was going with like the sacrifice and stuff, but that should have happened in the first book then. Like I don't understand.
They just feel like they have too much filler in them. The
And
hospital stuff was pretty interesting too. I found that intriguing. It just, again, it was kind of there and then not there anymore. It was too easy.
And like they just kill off all these side characters. Like I was like, why are we killing off our security guard guy thingies that we worked so hard to get?
And then too, like speaking of killing off people and things with consequence not having any impact, freaking Jordan loses his leg. And we're just like, oh, this sucks. Here's a prosthetic. Okay, I'm going to be back on the ship doing things again. And I'm like,
I was reading and I was like, wait, when did Jordan lose his leg? Why are we talking about a prosthetic? Like I literally missed it.
Well, it kind
I
of
saw it,
happens
but then he
off-
was back on
kind
the
of
ship
happens
doing
off
everything
screen.
he would normally do like 2 weeks later, and I'm thinking, why can't we see the emotional impact that this had to have had on him? You work a
Yeah.
ship, and now suddenly you're not gonna be
Yeah,
able
we
to do
got
half the things you
again.
thought
We
you were
got like
gonna be able
one
to
You
do.
can't
page of him
swim
being
if you
slightly
fall
sad
in
about.
the ocean. I mean, you
Paddle.
can kind of, but not well. Like, literally,
Yeah.
I'm watching One Piece currently, and that same thing happens, and then the guy's not allowed to be a pirate anymore because he would die on
Yeah.
it. Probably fell because you can't swim that well with a wooden leg.
It was just so glossed over. Nothing
Mhm.
even if you're gonna have consequence, they have to have consequence. You can't just do something of consequence and then smooth it over so that it never even existed and keep on
Yeah,
moving. That
but
has
like
no
yeah, like even
impact.
it happened with like this whole singing thing.
Yeah.
Which, like, I mean, like, we kind of saw a bit more consequence to it because, like, oh, I can't sing anymore. And I'm like, literally, the whole first book, you were like, I will never sing ever. And now,
I
like,
know.
we didn't even see him, like, be like, oh, yeah, this is, like, part of me again, this is
Mhm.
part of, like, my family and all of this. And then he's like, oh, I'm really sad because I lost it. I'm like,
So detached. The whole thing is
yeah.
just so detached.
Honestly, apparently I just miss when things happen to Jordan because I also was like, how did his voice get wrecked? Like, it just was like one line, like
No, that was actually, like, the most interesting chapter in the entire book.
I literally just live for any time a Gleam is there or a Windhorn,
Yeah.
and I'm
The
like, ooh,
one chapter I paid attention to when he was getting kidnapped. Uh,
I mean, there's also like a time because me and Mel were reading pretty much at the same time, identical. And during that chapter, there's a thing that Mel was so confused about, and I had to like explain it to her. And I was like, it took me so long, and it made
Yeah.
no sense because he gets kidnapped, and then they're going back to the boat, and the Joran's like, oh, they're all standing back for some reason and letting the other guy go on the boat first.
Yep.
And
The
there was a private
what was
joke 3
his
chapters
name?
earlier. I was like, why did we make this private joke such an important part of the plot here?
It made no sense. I was so confused because I was thinking, okay, I missed something. Maybe he's going to do the rebellion, and that's why he had to go on first, was because he's going to lead the rebellion, and then he didn't have anything to do with it. I was so confused.
the one thing I paid attention to. Yeah.
Pretty much we've covered all my notes besides the fact that I got really annoyed in this book because we're always just told how great Mies is. I'm never actually shown her being great. I'm just told
Yeah.
she's great.
Mhm.
I
It's just
follow
kind of
her.
annoying. Yeah.
Was
And
on Bergen.
yeah, I mean, I have no I do not care about her at all.
Mm-mm.
Like, don't care.
No. At the end, when she's like sacrifices herself, and Jordan's like, "I'm not captain." I really wanted him to be like, "I'm captain."
Yeah. This
Do
all came back to the
something,
very first
anything.
it all came back to like the end of the very first page of the first book where he's like, I'm gonna take this shit back one day. And like
Yeah.
end of this book, he's like, I miss her so much.
So annoying.
No.
And then, I mean, I now understand because I remember when Dinnell was told to be captain of the other boat and got promoted. I was so pissed because I was like, "Why are you promoting Dinnell and not Joran?" Like that made no
Yeah.
sense. And then a chapter later, Dinnell died, and I was like, "Oh, that's why." But
Hmm.
the romance between Dinnell and Joran
Don't even
pissed a
call
lot
it
of
that.
people off.
Because it's not. It's not.
The romance.
I understood it. Personally, that was something that didn't bother me because I
No.
felt like
Oh, it didn't bother me, but it was just like it. Ugh.
I felt like I knew that they were.
Oh, I definitely but in the first book, I thought something was going to happen between the two of them. Like there was a lot of stuff. Like I was like,
Mhm.
and like he had mentioned earlier in the book, men can sleep with men and women with women,
Yeah.
And so I was like, I was like, oh my god, is something going to happen here? And then in this book, they're like, oh no, something did happen. It's over now though.
Mhm.
I'm like,
I also assumed that it was going to be a relationship that like we got in this
yeah.
book more than like I thought it was going to have started off page, but we still would have got it on page. But it made more sense to me this way because I was like, how the fuck are we going to have a relationship after they chopped his hand off?
Yeah. Oh no, it definitely makes sense, but I think it made sense that like there was something there, but I'm
Yeah.
just annoyed that we didn't see it in the first book and then see the consequence in the second book instead of just being told, "Oh yeah, and like he basically said like at one point that he like actually loved him, like, and I'm like,
Mhm.
if you loved him, we were in your point of view
Mhm.
for the whole of the first book, and we never got told that. So
Yeah, I agree with that, and, the other relationship that was told that this is the one that I was like, "Wait, what?" was there was one with Anzir and someone else, and I forget who that someone else is, but when Anzir dies, someone's pissed about it because they had a relationship, and Jordan says that, and I'm like, "Wait, what?"
mm. See, I can't remember anyone's name in the book, so that's a problem for me. Like
Yeah,
all of the side characters,
oh, no.
they're all the same person. They're all the
I
same.
love Ferris, I can't lie. I do love Ferris.
I mean, I think she could be cool, but
Um, she's my second favorite after Ghislaine.
mm,
I just feel like she's so innocent, but, like, I'm gonna do my best.
mm.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't impacted by their relationship for sure,
Yeah,
but
yeah. I mean, I just didn't care. Also,
uh-huh.
killed your days much.
Mhm.
I feel like the most important character, Mies, doesn't have any substance to
Mm.
her at all.
Yeah, especially
She's
since
supposed to
like
be this really
even
cool,
though
lucky, badass woman, and I'm like,
mm,
I don't care.
yeah, and even though like yeah, like Joran is the like main character, she's
Mhm.
kind of like supposed to be the character that is like bringing this whole story together.
Mhm.
She's like the person who starts it all off.
The linchpin, kind of.
Yeah, and yet,
I enjoyed that we got a journal entry from her, but I wish we got journal entries
mm,
all the way through. Like, that
Yeah.
journal entry was pointless to me, but I was like,
mm,
"Why didn't we get that this whole book and had her, like, one-page journal entry?" Like, that would be so cool. It
I
would add
agree it would be cool, but I don't agree. Like, I thought it was pointless in this because it
yeah,
was basically just used as a plot device to tell you what was going on while she wasn't present with Joran, and it just sped through everything. And I'm like, cut out some of this other useless crap and give her a point of view and tell us more about what happened.
I agree it was useless in this book, but I think we could have been better and, like,
Agreed.
done it all the way through, and, like, it wouldn't have been necessarily a POV, but would have added, I feel like, so much more depth to the book,
Yeah,
just
mm,
adding,
I
like,
agree.
a
yeah,
couple.
just kind of like a ship's log.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
Like, in, uh, Rain Wilds, how they have the mail?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, something like that.
Yeah,
Mm.
the bird mail. Yeah, agreed.
He's really annoyed me. I don't remember why, though. That is a literal mood for this book.
The whole
Um,
series, just I don't remember why though.
did they say that Ferris was straight? I don't know. I just assume everyone's gonna be fucking each other because you're on a boat. Like girl, girl, guy, guy. Close quarters.
Gotta get it off somewhere.
Oh, no.
Um, I don't know.
And then
I don't really
I don't
have
know.
to say.
You had like different relationships that he tried to bring in from the other black ships to make this big like community. I miss that.
Oh,
Isn't Gavin the
the boy.
child?
The boy. Yeah, they do talk about this, but I didn't. Yeah, some people got needs.
I don't know.
Oh,
It just the
yeah.
whole thing feels disjointed and disconnected.
Yeah. Oh.
This
Again,
was
I don't
cool.
remember this.
He wasn't told he couldn't be a courser because he
Oh yeah,
was.
yes. I remember this. I do remember this.
This was a cool backstory.
Mhm.
But again, I was like, we got just like a spit up of plot backstory, and then
Yeah.
it was like never talked about ever again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need more than that. I need you to like build me a character as we go, not just here's
Here you go.
why.
Yep.
Let's move
Mm.
on. Well, I have nothing else to say. Yes,
This
sorry.
book was not overly
I'm
exciting.
trying to see. Oh, also, what the hell is like that rot thing that they keep talking about?
Rock thing?
The rot. It's like some sort of sickness.
Oh.
The rot. R-O-T.
I was like, what? I think it's just basically kind of like any
Yeah.
sickness on a boat. If you get it,
Yeah.
it's going to go throughout the ship and end up pretty much killing everybody.
Yeah.
Infectious disease.
It's like necrotizing
I never would
fasciitis.
have guessed that.
Fusion
Because that's
rot.
how he loses his leg, right?
No,
Yeah,
there's
like,
a piece of bone that.
but he does have the Kishin rot, and he doesn't want to tell anyone.
Yes.
But I'm
Yes.
so confused how
Because
he got this, why
Yes,
he
that's
has
my whole
it.
thing. Because that happened before the whole leg stuff. That happened way earlier.
I thought they were together, and then it was basically just like this infection that if somebody brought it onto the ship, it would spread throughout the ship, and most people would get it.
Maybe. Yeah, that's because there's a piece of bone that they can't, that's like after detaching and they can't get it out. And that's why his foot gets chopped off.
He's losing his leg, so I have no clue. Jordan is sick? Question mark. They talk about it all the time, but he never seems sick to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a book, like he spends half the time injured, and yet I don't actually believe it. And then like, because like he also got stabbed in the back. And, like he kept reopening it, which I was like, oh my god, that like at least like one fantasy book that does that, because like in a lot of fantasy books, like they're immediately up and out again. And so like, but like it still didn't, like it just like skipped way too much to like actually feel like he was ever unwell.
Shouldn't everyone have it then? Because they're on a ship of
Yeah, you would think.
bones. Because
maybe the bones are only on the outside.
But he doesn't even work like Joran doesn't do anything with the bones besides be on a boat. So shouldn't everyone have it?
Everyone's confused.
Yeah.
Everyone has the rod.
Well,
You have the rod. You have the rod.
I am so not looking forward to reading the next one.
Me either. But we're almost done.
Yeah.
Audiobook all the way.
Maybe.
A mood.
Well, glad to have that clarified for me, guys.
So the next live show is scheduled for the first Saturday of May. I will most likely read the book the first week of May, because I can't bring myself to read it in April.
Oh yeah, I just remembered. I have exams the first 2 weeks of May.
We can move it. We can move it if we need to.
No, it's fine.
I have a feeling we will not be getting a Jade. I actually hope that Jade does not suffer through it and just doesn't read it.
Yeah, I don't think we're getting a Jade.
It'll probably just be the three of us if Bex reads it.
No, I'm definitely gonna read it because I own it. So, and it's on my TBR for this month. So I don't want to fail. So.
You gotta do it. You got to do it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I knew that this one would go more than 30 minutes because I was like, I have nothing to talk about here. Like I know
I don't even have any theories. Like I
don't think it's getting better.
I'm sure
I think
Mies will be fine. Joran will also be fine. He'll probably get a bunch more injuries that we like won't actually care about.
A few more people die with no impact.
A couple more weird side characters will die, but everyone else, like the important people, will be fine. Important people will be fine.
This Deb, I agree with this. I will be really pissed too if Jordan just gets sicker and sicker and then is just magically healed at the end.
Oh, I hope he dies.
I hope he dies too.
Then we would have something happen.
Hopefully the next trilogy I pick will be much better.
Cassidy, you gotta do your research. You need to read like the first chapter and be like, all right, where are we?
I read nothing. I just picked up a book and said, I want to read this so other people can too.
A lot of people wanted to read this though. Like it wasn't something that you just picked up on a whim. This was a popular want to read, I feel like.
I will probably live show put a poll up.
Yeah. See, my thing was like I saw so many people haul this series. Like I remember it was probably like 2 or 3 years ago. I remember seeing like Cody haul like the
Mhm.
first book, and I think did Becca also haul? Like loads of people were hauling it, but I have never seen anyone that I actually follow read it
Yeah.
until now. And
Cassie,
so
are you gonna do 2
yes.
books or 3 books, or 3 series possibilities for next time, like to vote between?
Well, I was gonna maybe ask if you guys had books, trilogies in mind, or series. They don't have to be a trilogy, but
I have a
preferably not
trilogy
like a
in mind.
long series.
I have a trilogy
Send it in the private chat.
because I think you've already mentioned it. This is one I've heard you mention that I've heard's good.
Oh, is it the one that I think? Oh.
Mm-mm.
Hmm. See, I need to look at covers to know what I think. Oh,
Me
okay.
too. Oh,
I like the
Yes.
cover.
It's
do
kind of like
want
this
one.
one where it has like the trilogy and then the spin-off trilogy.
See, Robin Hobb has rated it 5 stars, but Robin Hobb also blurbed this one as incredible, so I'm not sure do I trust her.
This one,
That's
Dad has read, and we have similar reading taste, and I
Mm.
gave them all 5 stars. So that's why I'm
Okay.
like, okay.
Well, okay, my pick is the Ninth Reign
Yeah.
trilogy.
I'm good with that one because
I
I
am
do
too.
want to read that.
I know nothing about it, so it could literally be terrible, where I actually do know a little bit about this series because I know people who have read it and liked it. Mel
Yeah.
sent the Powder Mage trilogy. I
Yes,
could just
Rachel.
and then I probably will still put the Wounded Kingdom series on just to be a
Yeah.
person that no one will it.
Stick to writing.
Mm. Yeah.
No, it's
Honestly-
the Powder Mage trilogy by Brian McClellan.
I feel like she did not read this trilogy and she was just asked because it all only literally just says like what 5 stars. Like it's not even a good blurb.
Yeah, it just says wait.
And it's similar enough to
Remarkable.
Live Ships that I feel like they were like, oh, this is similar to Live Ships. Do you want to blurb it?
Yeah, she
It'll
also
drag
said
in the same
really
readers.
exciting.
Yeah.
You liar, Miss Hobb. Stick to writing, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
For an author that's so good with characters to have an author that's so bad with characters.
I am very curious to read Wounded Kingdom though and see if his characters are good because everyone says that.
How long is
Yeah.
that book? Like,
It-
is
that
it going
one's
to be
short.
a commitment, or should I just take one for the team? Because I'm just apparently a glutton for punishment and curious and just kind of want to know. It's 400
really short.
pages.
Yeah, I own it. I'll read it at some point. It's Assassins, another buzzword, so
Yeah.
this is
I
the
do
thing.
love
Maya
Assassin's
said Powder Mage was good.
Yeah. Okay, well,
We have
I guess
options.
we can go back to reading for peace talks.
I'm going to go to the bookstore.
I have to go study because I was reading this all day instead of studying.
Fair, you should study for exams.
You should.
Don't want to.
Anyways, thank you so much for coming to the live show and for reading this terrible series with me that I'm still giving 3 stars, so it's not actually terrible, but yourself stay wonderful day.
Bye.